What's going on, everybody? It's the GoodFellaz doing what we do. Man, we've been talking about everything today, talking about topics that y'all want to talk about and topics that we want to talk about. We done talked about music, entertainment, pop culture, so it's only right we get into some politics, and goddamn, we got a lot to talk about. Shout out. And by the way, we got a round table discussion going on. I got my man Dad, the photographer, in the building.
You.
Got my man Big A. What's good?
What's going on, everybody? It's Big A, y'all.
We got my man Karev, Heritage Hip Hop, in the building.
Hello. Okay.
And then we got the gangster and the gentleman himself, Sha Murder. What's going on?
What up? What up?
What's good? Yo, so it's just since last week when we had our last episode and we got into politics, in 1 week, a lot of stuff has been going on. I mean, if we talking about politics, we're talking about people getting shot, all types of craziness is going on. Yo, what's going on? In 1 week, this is how crazy society is. What's going on? We see, like I said, we got people getting shot. We got people doing the shooting. We got sports teams boycotting. Yo, Sha, I feel like go first, man. Let them know how you feeling this week with everything that's going on.
I think, man, like it's a time like we never seen before, man. Because this ain't the first time that an unarmed person of color has been killed by police officers. But it's like now it's getting to the point where people in general, not just black athletes, but a lot of people in general are just fed up. Just today, we had a job today at a Caucasian customer's house, and he had a sign on his lawn that said Black Lives Matter. Like, this is a time where I think that a lot of other people are taking up the cause, because it's more about humanity than it is about, a black problem. You know what I mean? Or a Hispanic or a black and brown problem.
Word.
I just want to say before we go any further, in addition to that shooting, just the other day there was that white cat in Wisconsin who shot a couple of protesters.
That's an additional shooting.
Who weren't even who were just, from what I gather, white cats, and it was just like a 17-year-old kid that was just shooting. So now it's getting to the point where it's beyond a black and white, or this and that. Like, I feel like all hell is about to break loose, man. Like, Big A, how you feel about what's going on?
I mean, well, first of all, the shooter, he came to attack a peaceful protest. It wasn't even a riot. It was a peaceful protest they were doing. They were protesting. They weren't getting violent or anything like that. People were walking. He came in a peaceful protest, walking amongst the people as a peaceful person, and then he pulls out his AK and just starts randomly shooting people. Shot one person in the face, shot another person in the chest, and if it wasn't for another person risking his life, literally putting his life on the line, hitting him with his skateboard, and then getting shot in the face, also dying instantly, which ironically somebody caught that footage of the guy actually doing that, which is crazy, because they were trying to get the face of the shooter. It's just crazy how all this is happening. First, it was based off cops shooting a man in the back 7 times. It's one thing when you try to subdue, or if you're trying to evade the police, but if you're walking away, you're not a threat. And then if your back is turned and you're not running, then like it's uncalled for to get shot by anybody in the back. But it seems like 7 times, and it just seems odd that only people of color are considered a threat, no matter if they have a weapon or don't. Whereas this young man who had the AK, the next day he was actually greeted with police with his weapon in his hand, and they didn't shoot him at all. And he was actually allowed to go home, which didn't make any sense to me.
And he go to sleep.
Hold up. Just to clarify this. All right. So the world is it's wilding. It's wilding right now. People, you got the virus. You got the Democratic conventions. You got the Republican conventions,
which is going on right
which
now.
I think is on tonight. I think actually Trump's supposed to. I got to see this dude talk because I know after 5 minutes this thing about to get crazy. But because that's that dementia kick in after that. But in terms of like, it's wild. You got another man being shot, black guy shot by police, and it just seems like there was another way. And I think what you're seeing is you're seeing the pattern that people are seeing this, and after a certain amount of time, you can't just keep saying, well, he could have done this, or he could have done this, or he could have done. It's like at a certain point, it's like you have to look at the situation and say, there's a pattern here, and for the reasoning as to the justification, it's always dehumanizing somebody. It's this person's criminal record, this person's he did this in the past. It's like, yeah, but at the moment, someone doesn't have a weapon, someone's not actively trying to attack you, emptying 8 bullets into a dude when he's got kids in the car. Like, I can't explain to someone how evil that is. And I work with police for my job. I investigate a lot of this. Like, so my point of view, like I'm outside of photography, I'm a social worker, 18 years, bro. Like, I've seen all this stuff. Like, there's something in somebody's brain, man, that makes them want to be an officer, but you're that scared of just a black person. Like, that's something that's crazy to me. And this boy, like, it's a politics thing. And that's my problem. Everything is becoming political. We're discussing death and murder more often than we ever have because everything is visual. It keeps getting put in your face. And it's come to the point that we're discussing the death of somebody else, and our conversation, like, we're discussing someone who just got murdered. 17-year-old boy, 17-year-old child. His mom drove him across state lines with a rifle to go hang out with the militia. Like, I'm sorry, that the police were with the militia. The police were supporting the militia. The kid shot people down the street from the police. They did nothing. He walked by the cops. They drove by him. When people were screaming, he just shot somebody. So it's a rough time, man. And the one thing that I think me personally, I'm trying to do is stay balanced, because it's so easy to be dragged in one way or the other. And I think that's where it comes in, where you can't just be reading headlines. You can't just read the media. You can't just, YouTube is not a source. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I did research,
it's just sad, man. It's sad that we're at this point where we just keep having these type of discussions over and over again. And I support the athletes and anyone else who is basically taking a stand and saying, look, we're not going to give you an escape tonight. What happened is more important, and the conversation that needs to happen around it is more important than you being able to turn on TV and say, hey, go Yankees, go Mets. I support what the NBA did. And if the football does it, I support them too. It's ridiculous.
Word up. Yo, Ken, how do you feel about the whole situation? Well, situations plural, because, we got damn near 2 shootings within a couple of days. How do you feel about the whole situation?
I feel that America's true identity is being played in front of the world, and we're the laughing stock of all nations right now.
Wow.
America's true religion is a Manifest Destiny, the Manifest Destiny Manifesto, which says that all races are beneath the Caucasian race, so it is their job to take it over. I was taught that at elementary school in my textbook. And America has not seen to fail in that Manifest Destiny Charter, not once. We've gotten to a time where we had religion versus state, we had race and ethnicity issues, but then we had militia versus the government, and now the militia and the police seem to be joining together, which is crazy.
Wow.
We have unarmed civilians being killed, let alone a man got shot in the back 7 times in front of his children. What about the Latin gentleman who from the army in Texas at Fort Hood that they found hung? Nobody's talking about that in the media.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What about the 17-year-old boy who was running away and got shot in the back at the mall in Miami? Nobody's talking about that. And what I see is so-called minorities, because I don't like that word, but so-called minorities and people of color, the melanated population of this country are under attack. Not only from a government who can't even get stimulus money correct, we're getting bombarded with the lie of black on black crime, which really does not exist. We're getting bombarded with figures of speech and pop culture turning on people for how they look or sexual preference. We have bastardized humanity into not only a game of life or death, checks and balances, also bingo, where people are betting and betting and taking odds on who's going to live and who's going to die. The same way they'll have odds on who's going to be president or who's going to be vice president. I think at the end of the day, what I feel about this right now is this. Shout out to the people in sports that are taking it upon themselves to show America that we are more than athletes. The most famous thing, I'm going to leave on this, the most famous thing that came to my mind that happened in this country was from a movie. Shout out to Michael Jai White on this one. I think it's Blood and Bone, where the guy, the Muslim, or the black guy and the white guy argue at a table. And the black guy says he wants equality in the business. And the white gentleman says, do you let your dog sit at your table to eat? Because that's how we feel about you. You're to entertain us. We will never treat you as an equal. And we're seeing America play that in our faces every day on television and on our devices. The revolution is televised.
Yeah. Yo, it's a crazy time. I mean, I feel like there's many levels to this. On one hand, there's a total lack of leadership from the top. Your boy, President Trump, who not only is he not providing leadership, I feel like he likes to stir the pot.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
All this stuff, like, I feel like this stuff is, now mind you, there's been several presidents. This stuff's been going on for years. Blacks getting shot by police, or not just, I mean, just all nationalities. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like now cops is comfortable with it because they know that a higher authority is pretty much giving his blessing on it. So you got that in the mix. Then you got the weaponization of lies and misinformation. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these people, Facebook, Instagram, you know, whatever their social media of choice, are getting brainwashed to the point where, you know, you could go on Facebook and mind you, it's bad enough dude getting shot by the cops, but there is no way to justify that 17-year-old dude shooting people and people being like, nah, chill. The moment I start seeing nah, chill, I realize, like, we have been so politicized where, you know, the side of hate and white supremacy and all that, they've been taking notes. They've learned how to weaponize misinformation. They've learned how to work.
There's so much hypocrisy, like you just said. I've heard people say, I watched all the video, like, and I like to know what I'm talking about. I watched every available video from that of that kid, the Kyle Rittenhouse kid, and there's no video that shows what happened prior to him being chased by the dude and bucking him in the face. There's no video, but you have conservative, or you have news outlets, I'm not gonna say conservative, you have news outlets that are trying to say, oh, someone was throwing a Molotov cocktail at him. They were doing this, they were doing that. And I'm like, and I have a conversation, I'm like, wait a minute, but how do you know that? Because what happened before the shooting? That's what's the famous thing you always hear. The operative is, well, someone got shot. We don't know what happened before. We don't know what happened before. I'm sitting there like, well, you know, this kid shouldn't have been there. You know, he was 17 and a minor. Why is he you know, he lied to the cops saying he was a local. That's video. You got the militia guys saying that the police told them that they were going to drive all the people towards them to deal with, and then the police were going to leave. This is the militia guy. You got this kid on video shooting people, running away from people, getting shot. Then I'm being told, well, they had guns. Well, isn't that the point? Isn't the whole point is that everyone has guns? So when someone shoots someone, they can be the good guy with a gun and stop them? So yes, what do you mean he was getting chased? Of course he was, because he just shot someone in the head. So if I'm a good guy with a gun, I'm going to try to disarm the 17-year-old kid who just ran away and murdered somebody, got on the phone and said, I killed somebody and ran away, because that's on camera. So yes, the people who hit him with a skateboard, yes, they're trying to get the gun out of his hand because he just murdered somebody. And I can't believe that I have to go back and forth with people who don't understand that had that kid's mom never drove him there, because he shouldn't have been there. What mother drives their 17-year-old kid, arms him, and drops him off at a protest with a militia?
Cross state, not even in the state.
With a militia to defend property that he has no ties to, and the police co-sign that. Dude, this is not like, and I hate taking, it's like, yo, that kid murdered someone down the street. He shot other people in front of the police. He walked to the police car and was about to get in the car as if that's what he was trained to do if he killed somebody.
Hey, Dad,
call somebody, say he killed someone, get to the police, surrender yourself, and get in the police car. He surrendered. It almost like he was confused because the cops just drove right by him. He surrendered. He puts his hands down. He looks at the police car. Then he walks to the police car, goes to look like he's going to get in the back seat, looks around, then backs up, and then runs away and flees the scene. And people are saying this kid's a hero. This is the problem. And I don't care if that other dude who got murked was the Antifa guy. I don't care, because at that moment in time, there was zero reason for that kid to bust him in the head and murder that man. And I'm tired of hearing people use someone's past to justify execution. That's crazy.
But Dad, wait. Let me just say one thing, and I'm going to leave it like this. With all the information you got, remember, there was a police conference where the police chief, sheriff, commissioner, whatever, said it's the people who got shot fault because they were out after curfew. Now take that to the bank with you.
Yeah, they're out at the curfew. Not random militias out there who shouldn't be out there, and police breaking up everybody else but the militias for, I don't know, nobody was burning anything. Nobody was rioting. It's on video. So what's the militia doing? The militia was talking with people, with protesters. There was dudes from the militia talking to the protesters. He said to them, like, what the F, the police wanted to put us in charge, basically. Like, what is that? This is America, though. I'm getting my gun license, fam. I'm going to stay strapped up. I'm going to get my shotgun. Anybody come into my crib and mess with me and mine, click, clack.
Well, remember, you got to remember the state laws in Jersey. Remember, you got to know the state laws in Jersey.
Bro, I know the laws in Jersey.
At this point, it don't even matter.
But I'm saying everybody watching, don't do it ignorantly. Know the state law.
Bro, I don't do nothing ignorant. But like I said,
hold on, let him finish though.
No, anyone come in my house I'm defending my family. This kid went out hunting people because he wanted to live a fantasy because he was a failed police cadet with criminal history. I've seen it. The kids like that, they're the ones that want to be police officers because it's a fulfilling thing for them to have that power.
It's
to be running around in the street with guns. It's exciting to them. Like, this kid needs to go, he needs to be in a mental, and like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I say the same thing. If that dude was black, would he be alive? No.
No.
Let a black dude that shot some people and say, oh, they threw a Molotov cocktail at me. And, bro, they sick dogs on black people walking over bridges. You think if somebody threw a Molotov cocktail at a black kid and he shot a bunch of white people that he would just walk to the police with his hands up? Give me a break. Like, people need to stop. They need to stop.
I got a
click, clack, fade to black.
I want to kind of discuss because my initial comments on the subject, I kind of polished it. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. Black and Latino people, we're far behind in everything, man. We're far behind in the financial game. We're far behind in being strapped, being armed. We're far behind in really things that are more important. You know what I mean? You got people, white, Caucasian people out there, whole militias that are training and doing a lot of things, getting ready for a race war and getting ready to basically kill people of color. And we over here partying and doing all types of just stupidity. You know, we're not getting ourselves ready. We don't have no solidarity. We're hating on each other. They have unity over there, man. We don't have unity.
See,
they're together, man.
Yeah.
They have a whole system.
Slippery slope.
Like, you got to think about it. Sandra Bland, a so-called black woman, right? Because I don't like using the colors to describe people. A woman of color, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gets arrested in a hostile manner just for failing to signal and winds up dead. And everything about that case looks bad, but somehow nobody is being held accountable. Nobody holds white people accountable when they murder black and Latino people. You ever notice that?
Why?
They shot
Nobody
the
holds them
autistic boy.
accountable.
They shot that autistic boy. He just said, "I'm just different. I'm not causing any problems. I'm just different." They shot him.
He even said, "I'm sorry." After he got shot, he told the cops, "I'm sorry."
Bro, I just don't understand how a police officer can walk up to you, put his hands on you, and then when you say, "Yo, get your hands off me," because unless you're detaining me or you're trying to question me in the process of investigating an active crime, get your hands off me. Like, don't touch me. And if you touch me and I say, "Get your hands off me," it's not resisting arrest because I'm not under arrest. So then you can't sit there and say you're resisting. Resisting what? There's no crime. There's no arrest. But they do that crap all the time. You get your hands off, then they want to fight you. Then once they put their hands on you, when you start fighting back, then it's resisting arrest. Because now, once you throw that hand off, it's, "Oh, you're assaulting me. You're being combative." The problem at the end of the day is that America needs to realize that racism is real. It was never meant for the people who were brought and subjugated to be equal. There's many opportunities out here for everybody. I went to college. I have a good job. I work for my stuff, my house, my family. We work. You know what I mean? I'm middle class, man. Like, I work. My family worked. My family's from the South. But but people gotta realize that just because I am an example of where it works, I'm also an example of being harassed by police, being, followed around stores, being, frisked for no reason. I was pulled over in a state car doing my job. So it's like to see people discount that because you either have money if you're an athlete, or if you're not in the hood, because somehow the entirety of black people, when we discuss black people, has to be the inner city. No, I'm not down with that. That's the politics stuff of it. Like, there needs to be a list or specific things that people are calling for as a community now.
It is.
So that, but I mean, like, it needs to be more publicized and it needs to be more consistent across everyone. Like, qualified immunity. Qualified immunity needs to go.
That list is out, and people have been talking about it for the last 3 months.
What people, bro? Listen, I'm on social media. I haven't seen that. I haven't heard anything, and I want to see a list.
Wait. But what you said about being the outlier, remember, these are the same people who control the media. So a lot of the stuff that you can't because that is a reason. There's 3 specific groups who have put lists together that you have to dig and find. Let me ask you a question. Did you read Ice Cube's contract with America?
And I didn't read Listen, I didn't read Ice Cube because Ice Cube is on somewhere else. I can't follow that. I can't follow that.
Did you read it? That's one.
I didn't read. Look, I did not read that. But
okay,
I'm listening to the statements that he made in his video. I can't vibe with all that. I can't get
Did
get
you
down with
read
all that.
the contract? Forget what he said. Did you read the document? If you
I did
didn't,
not.
that's one.
Send it to me. Send it to me.
Okay, that's one. The second one is the one that went to the UN about having a nation within a nation.
See,
and being
that's
called
different.
being
That's not
called
what I'm
country
talking about.
seven. But that's another that you said we reading the list. I'm giving you people who giving us lists. I'm just giving you people who's giving us lists. So this lists have been out. That the third one was on Roland Martin when they would talk about what do people of color need to ask for and what do we want, and they had like a 12-point system. I forgot the gentleman who made it. Pardon me. But that's 3 examples of things people have looked for and asked for. That, once again, if you don't control the media, it's not going to be publicized.
But here's the thing.
Was it Tariq Nasheed?
You'll have a person
Correct.
getting shot everywhere. But anything that comes with reparations, legal standard, monetary standard, because everybody doesn't even know what's going on with the stimulus checks because it's not everywhere. All I'm saying is when you control the media, you control how the siphon of information goes. That information
I think honestly, not to interrupt.
Yeah, but you can't.
I think it's bigger than the media.
I'm not down for all that. Like for me, it's. I'm talking about we want to stop police brutality. Talking about a list of being a nation within, and that's not what I'm talking. Like, bro,
but
I want to know.
But it's important.
Immunity. I want to know prosecuting independent prosecutors for those like the police. Stop letting the police prosecute police. Listen, I'm for defunding certain parts of the police department. Police departments should not have freaking military vehicles. They should not be able to buy freaking or get vehicles from the military. That should be going into the actual town to, let's say, the city, plant some freaking trees, paint some buildings, renovate some places, bring back after school programs. Like, these are the things that keep kids off the streets and that keep them out of prison because it gives them something to do. Yeah. Those are the lists I'm talking about.
One question. Are melanated people in this country legal citizens? Especially after the Dred Scott case? Because that's the case that's always brought up. Or if you look at the foundations of the Constitution.
Listen, my passport, when I leave the country and I come back, it's stamped as American citizen.
Let me finish. Let me finish. In the articles of the Constitution, there's a famous debate by John Adams and Ben Franklin, where John Adams said there's 23,000 slaves in Virginia. And if they would have ever armed themselves, we would be taken out of power in Virginia. What should we do? And the answer was, since all Indians and Negroes are not citizens of the country, we don't have to worry about them. We write them out of legislation, which means they're not citizens. So you can say we have the amendments and everything, but if you don't fight for the legal right to count as a nation, a people, a human, a man, that 3/5 shit still is in practice in the law. So let's see,
guys.
A lot of the stuff is not going to happen.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to kind of keep this going real quick. Big A, can we say we've been talking about what's going on and how we got here? Let's talk about what's next. Big A, can we say that? Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like Donald Trump is part of the cause of everything going now? And if so, can we afford 4 more years of that?
Yes, he is the cause. But he's not the root of the cause.
A cause.
The problem has always existed since we came into this country. From our forefathers came into this country. Like, let's be realistic. Like, the root is actually racism started way before Donald Trump was even thought of. The problem is when he got in power, people who were closet racist, who felt as some of his original cabinet felt, they felt like now we have a voice for the voiceless that didn't have a voice for 8 years.
Voiceless.
For the voiceless the good old boys, the Make America Great Again. Why was America great and what was it again? What's the slogan? Those words are undertone for blatant racism,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
people didn't see it that way. Oh no, he was talking about this. Come
Bring
on,
it
man.
back to how it was.
Bring it back how it was, how we was able to step on you. And obviously the way he's enforced police, the way he's actually endorsed them in racial topics, not so much as political. So when he gets attacked politically, then it's fake. Then it's not real. But yeah, so no, we can't afford to have this guy for another 4 years. It's important to have your voice heard voting wise.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's be realistic. It's not really our voice. It's the electoral college. They're supposed to follow our public and popular vote, which they didn't do last campaign. If you really paid attention to the polls, so like no. To answer your question, yes, part of the root. No, we can't. But it's not really in our hands. I mean, it's in our hands to vote, but if it's not, if we don't have the representation as they keep saying that we need to for us for the census, then no, nothing will be accounted for, and the same shit will continue going on. I mean, if his predecessors were able to do what he's able to do, and actually far worse because there were media and social media back then, I mean, it's only going to get worse until a major, a drastic change happens. That's all. That's when stuff was going to stop. When Martin Luther King was assassinated, the Civil Rights Act wasn't passed because people kept marching peacefully. People turned up. People turned up in this whole fucking country. And then guess what happened? That shit got passed real quick to come the pacifiers. So, and to answer your question, unless some shit really happens, like they say, shit hits the fan, nah, nothing's gonna change.
Good.
And yeah, he's part of the problem.
Guys, I feel like this is one of those topics that we could go on and talk about for hours. It's that real and it's that crazy. Unfortunately, we're hitting like the half an hour mark. I think it's about that time. I have a feeling, sad to say, that we're going to be talking more about these situations and more about your boy and just all the craziness of the world. But like I said, now's the time. Let's wrap it up. Where can they reach you guys? Let me start with you, Big A. Where can they reach you at if they want to holler at you with comments, suggestions, or whatever?
At ADR, AHDAYAR, it's right there. So you see it. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Twitch. I'm on Twitch too. Twitch and TikTok. I'm getting my shit. TikTok.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yo, Ken, Heritage Hip Hop in the building. Like I said, it's not just music. It's a cultural thing you got going on. Let everybody know where they can reach you at for comments, suggestions, and just general feedback.
You can find me at Heritage Hip Hop everywhere. You can also see us at www.heritagehiphop.com. We represent Jersey hip hop and all around the world. And being that this was about politics, everybody go vote. Make Wakanda great again.
Absolutely.
That's dope.
Yo, Sha Murder, let them know where they can reach you at. I know you got, like I said, even when this is done, I know you're a man who has no problem talking about how he feels politically, spiritually, or whatever. Where can they reach you at on social media?
On Instagram, GOTHYQ. On Snapchat, GOTHYQ. And that's it. But also check out our website, GoodFellazTV.com. And also on Instagram, GoodFellaz TV.
Okay.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We definitely, we have platforms and we have different websites, Heritage Hip Hop, AEP, you know what I'm saying?
And
a collective perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could barely pronounce it, but you know what I'm saying? Definitely, we have a lot of, there's 5 of us. We got a lot to explain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's actually way more than 5 of us, but this week, this is who we got. I think over the course of other weeks, you'll see. But speaking of an eclectic perspective on things, Dad, the photographer, man, holla at him. Let them know where they can reach you at.
You know what's up? You can hit me at Dav_AEP. That's DAV_AEP on Instagram. You can hit me up in the Facebook group AEP Presents First Thoughts. Hey man, come through, talk movies, politics, just a whole roundtable, man. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's your boy Tommy Guns. You already know what it is. GoodFellazTV.com. Of course, DJ Tommy Guns on the social media. And like I said, man, we chop it up every week for y'all. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to discuss, holla at us, shoot us an email, shoot us a text, and we'll talk about in the next episode, man. So until then, we appreciate y'all checking in, however you're checking in. On behalf of all the good fellas, peace.
Peace.